Preparations for this operation had begun days before. In the southeastern part of Turkey, the vast forested areas lying right at the end of agricultural lands had been receiving constant complaints lately. Especially at night, pigs had been entering villagers' gardens, breaking water channels and ravaging cornfields, and now they were almost herding into villages. Some villagers even said that they heard noises in the morning and that there were missing animals in the henhouse. The situation was serious. We decided to coordinate with the municipal authorities, the gendarmerie, and the villagers to launch a serious hunting operation. Our team was larger this time. In addition to a core team of 8 hunters, tracker dogs, drone-assisted surveillance equipment, and night vision systems were brought in. We set off at 5 o'clock in the morning before the fog lifted. We walked along the creek bed on the north slope of the mountain, an area where pigs often come at night to drink and dig in the ground. As we walked in silence, our dogs suddenly stirred. They had caught the scent. First came the rustling of leaves from a thick bush shaded by trees, and then a large pig started running towards us, tearing through the bushes. I squeezed the trigger. The first bullet was wasted. The pig curled to the right. Hassan, who was next to me, reflexively fired the second shot and hit the target at shoulder level. The pig staggered for a moment but was still resisting. The third shot came from Yusuf, who was coming from behind. He finally fell down. The sun had not yet risen, and the first kill had been taken. But this was only the beginning. The footage from the drone camera showed another group of 5 or 6 pigs moving along the stream. We quickly changed direction, moving in a semicircle to squeeze the herd, this time up a hillside with sparse trees. From the cliff at the top, we could see the bodies of the pigs leaning against each other below. We held our breath. When the command came, everyone fired simultaneously. As the gunshots echoed through the valley, 3 pigs fell instantly. The rest tried to flee in panic, but they too were neutralized one by shots from the team closing in from the right. A total of 6 pigs were taken down in this clash. We kept moving forward, down the slope and into the shade in the deep valley, which is often used as a daytime hiding place. Just as we had expected, 2 more pigs burst out from behind a pile of stones. One of them broke through the rocks and started running towards the dogs. We intervened immediately to protect them. With 3 bullets, we put that pig down on the spot. By noon, a total of 13 pigs had been killed. But the biggest herd was in the pine area on the western slopes of the mountain. It was denser, darker, and more challenging. We moved there after the lunch break. In this area, things got more serious. The soil covered with pine needles was silent, hard to track. But our dogs came into play here too. First a noise, then a grunt, then a herd of 7-headed pigs burst out of a dense thicket towards us. The first 2 pigs were shot by me and Yalchin. Baran caught the third one at knee level, but the pig ran away screaming in pain. We gave chase. After a 200-meter chase, it came out into a clearing and we neutralized it there. In total, 5 more pigs were shot down in the fighting in this area, but fatigue was taking its toll. It was getting dark and everyone was quiet. We discussed whether to stay the night. It was a unanimous decision. We stay. Because there were still escapees and it was impossible to return without destroying the entire herd. The moon was overhead when the night hunt began. We were moving forward thanks to the thermal camera. On a rocky path, we picked up a heat signature. I signaled to everyone. I took a position behind a rock. I held my breath, took aim, pulled the trigger. The bullet went straight into its back, but it didn't fall. Baran fired the second bullet, but the pig started running. Finally, Yusuf intervened and stopped him with the third bullet. During the night, we shot down a total of 4 more pigs. In the morning, our eyes were red from lack of sleep, but everyone had a look of satisfaction on their faces. This operation was a challenging but successful hunt with a total of 29 pigs killed. Both the villagers breathed a sigh of relief, and we completed our fight against nature with honor once again. But we know that the next mission is not far away. As always, we are ready. If you don't want to miss such hunting adventures, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. With the first light of the morning, the forest came alive again. We were still on our feet as the yellow light filtering through the trees began to warm our sweat-soaked clothes from the night before. Even though we had shot down 29 pigs the previous day, the drone footage showed other herds still moving. There were serious signs of a large herd hiding, especially on the side of the valley surrounded by bushes. We were tired, yes, but this job could not be left unfinished. After a quick breakfast on our feet, we set off again as a team. Our destination was now the most difficult part of the area, the swampy forest. It took courage to enter there, because the ground was slippery and visibility was low. But it was precisely in areas like these that the pigs hid the most. When we started walking, our dogs immediately became sensitive to the scent. Fresh tracks were visible in the wet soil. As we crossed a muddy path and ducked into the dense vegetation, suddenly a voice echoed. As soon as our eyes met, we realized what it was: a large male pig charging at our faces. A boar weighing about 120 kilos, with curved horns and a fierce look, was charging directly at us. I got into position without retreating, trigger finger ready, aimed, squeezed. The first bullet grazed his chest. He went down hard, but the ground shook so hard that the earth trembled. The dogs didn't stop barking because it wasn't just one pig. Soon 4 more bodies emerged from behind the bushes. The remaining members of the herd were running left and right. The team quickly took position. Serhat's gun went off first, then me, then Yalchin. We hunted 5 more pigs in the minutes-long chase. One of them was so stubborn that it crawled away for another 150 meters despite being shot. I went after him and fired the last bullet, and he finally collapsed. We left this area with a total of 6 pigs, but this was just the beginning. The herds were large, the tracks were many. We moved further west, across the big stream bed. Here the slope was steeper, and the fog was still thick in places. However, our visibility was a little better as the density of trees had decreased. We took advantage of this and took the drone into the air. On the video screen, we could clearly see about 11 pigs milling around together. We took immediate action. We went around the top of the creek bed and got in front of the herd. Our dogs started to squeeze from below. Voices, barking, and the grunts of the pigs mingled. Then it happened. A huge herd of pigs exploded right in front of us. Dust, dirt, mud mixed together. Everyone lined up. Rifles began to talk. The forest rang as the gunshots echoed. I took aim at my first target and knocked him down with 1 bullet. Baran, standing right next to me, shot 2 pigs, one after the other. Hassan supported from the right side. The remaining pigs started to run away, but this time there was no escape. 6 of us spread out and formed a circle. After a long chase, we shot the last 3 pigs hiding in the trees one by one. When it was over, we had 11 pigs in total. It was just afternoon, but we wanted to go deeper because there was still another herd that hadn't been shot. And we were following their tracks. After crossing a rocky area, we found a shady spot on the opposite slope. We crouched down and rested for a few minutes. Just then, we heard a thin crack piercing the silence. Everyone froze. A giant boar's body was slowly gliding through the trees. But this was no ordinary wild boar. It was probably an old alpha male, broad-shouldered, hard-eyed, with scars on his face. He was on the prowl. He looked around and was getting ready to run when I aimed through the binoculars and hit him in the back with a single bullet. The bullet lodged in his torso but didn't fall. The second bullet came from Serhat, then I fired a third, and finally he fell to the ground. Even his fall echoed in the depths of the forest. He was so big that we all just stared at him for a few seconds. When we weighed him, he weighed over 140 kilos. It was one of the biggest we had ever shot. At the end of the day, as evening approached, we had a total of 21 pigs. By the end of the previous day, we had 50 pigs. This was a great success for us, both in terms of balancing nature and for the peace of mind of the villagers. On the way back, everyone was silent, but there was a slight smile on their faces. We were tired, yes, but we were at ease and our foreheads were clear. We had done our duty well again. And if you like this kind of hunting videos, don't forget to like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel to support this team. As the last light of the day hit the tops of the forest, we still hadn't returned. Because, on the way back, the drone's thermal camera detected another movement. The heat intensity was high, and there were obviously a few more pigs hanging around the edge of the forest. No one in the team was thinking of going home. The guns were already uncleaned, and the dogs were still sniffing around excitedly. We quickly changed direction and started walking towards the northern slope of the forest, which was mostly covered with thorn bushes. The slope was steep and difficult to cross. But this was where the real hunt took place. As we moved forward, our feet came across pig tracks in the ground. Fresh feces, hoof prints sunk into the soil. They all told us we were in the right place. Finally, one of the dogs suddenly started barking. We all crouched down, as if even if one of us spoke, the sound would drive the herd away. In front, in the bushes, there was a distinct movement. I slowly raised the binoculars and there they were. A herd of 7, including females with cubs. But one, the big one in front, was clearly the leader. I fired first, aiming for the leader. The bullet lodged in the pig's neck, and the animal jumped. When the 3 pigs that followed panicked and dived into the bushes, the team immediately took position. The gunshots mingled with each other. Baran shot 2 of them from the right diagonal. Yalchin went into the bushes and shot 1 at close range. The last escaped pig was the target of Hassan's rifle with a scope. In one breath, we had taken down 8 more pigs. It was really an extraordinary day, but the night had just begun and we were still in the area. The moon was high. Thanks to the thermal imagery, we could see our surroundings clearly. There were grunts coming from deep in the forest. For us, this was a sign. They still hadn't hunted. Without setting up camp, we continued on through the pine trees, this time on the other side of a small stream bed. It was known that pigs had been living here for a long time. We walked in silence, hearing only the rustling of leaves and the occasional panting of dogs. Suddenly, boom! A pig jumped out of the water and ran upwards, leaping right in front of us, followed by 3 more pigs. This time, the fighting was almost one-on-one. Guns exploded in rapid succession. The smell of gunpowder filled the air. In the darkness, only the flaming muzzle tips were visible. 3 fell instantly. The one that escaped had almost reached the rocks when I lowered the rifle from my back, knelt down on one knee and fired the last bullet. With the last explosion that echoed in the silence of the night, the pig tumbled to the ground. Tired but proud, we collapsed by the stream. We washed our faces in the water next to us and took a short break. The sky was full of stars. Everyone was silent. Only the slow breathing of the dogs could be heard. By the end of that day, the total number was 31 pigs. Yes, you heard right. 31 in just one day. This was not only a record, but also a real peace for the villagers. Because those pigs would be in the fields and vineyards until morning, plundering the crops with sacks. But not anymore. And if you are listening to this story, we consider you a friend. This channel is not just about pig hunting, it's about fighting nature, friendship, solidarity, and strategy. Don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe. Every subscriber means one more friend for us. See you again on New Hunts. Random.